This probably isn't your first side hustle, make money online video. And in fact, I'm probably willing to bet that you've watched 10, 20, even hundreds of side hustle videos online. Now, I'm sure they've all looked something like this, or this, where they promise as much money as humanly possible for as little work as humanly possible. And you just can't resist watching the video. I know, because I can't either. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 very real side hustles that no one else is talking about because they're not sexy, they're not flashy, they don't make great YouTube thumbnails, but each of these can make thousands of dollars every single month from the get-go. Number 1 is an Airbnb property manager. Now, before you run and hide and say that doesn't interest me because you come in with some kind of preconceived notion, let me show you some numbers real quick. Now, obviously, Airbnb is wildly different depending on the location of an Airbnb, but we own an Airbnb that's really close to a national park in the United States, and most towns that are close to highly visited national parks or visited locations will have numbers somewhat similar to this. You can see here our Airbnb is doing about $65,000 a year. Now, let's look at the average property manager that's charging anywhere from 15% to 25% and do the math there. That's close to $12,000 every single year per property, meaning you could make $1,000 a month for managing one single Airbnb property. Now, I would be willing to bet that a huge number of people watching this video right now would be happy even just getting that. Let me know in the comments below, how would $1,000 extra a month change your life or change the way you are able to live? Now, the second important thing to note is this number excludes cleaning fees. So you're not having to clean the apartment. That is a totally separate fee, and most property managers have their own cleaners that will come in and do all the cleaning, and they're pretty easy to find. Should you choose to actually do the cleaning as well, on a house like this, you could probably do another $10,000 per year. Now, what most people don't realize is a big chunk of the work here can be done by softwares. You can automate and you can systemize, and websites like Doorloop and Hostify and Hostaway can take care of a vast majority of the actual work here. For example, the software that we use connects directly with our Wi-Fi door locks. It sets up all the codes, sends out the new codes, and erases the old codes every time we get a new guest. It also sends out welcome messages every time a guest books and the day before a guest arrives. And then it also will send out messages and coordinate with the cleaning crew to make sure that the property is getting cleaned on a good schedule. Now, theoretically, in a perfect month, this means you could do absolutely nothing and still make a good amount of money. Now, obviously, we're not living in a theoretical world here, and guests will have questions, guests will come up with issues, they always do, but a vast majority of the day-to-day heavy lifting is being taken care of already. Now, what you're probably thinking, and what the biggest holdup here is for somebody that would like to get into this, is, well, how do I get clients? And that's just a question of how and where. Like, what do you offer that's different that would make someone want to come with you? And where do I go to find these property managers? And that's actually not that hard either. I mentioned the price point. A good chunk of these property managers are charging 25%. I know, because I've looked through many of them. That means you can come in with something as simple as, I'm only going to charge 15% and do pretty good. Another big one is a lot of these big guys don't want to manage everything on the property. They want to manage just the Airbnb side, but they would like the host to manage the furnace filters and the water filters, and if something breaks, and the light bulbs, and just all that minute little stuff. Now, those might not seem like a big deal, but they're typically actually a big deal to an owner who may have a couple different Airbnbs, and they may be hundreds of miles away. They don't want to deal with changing light bulbs. So you can make a promise that it will truly be a hassle-free experience where they won't have to think about things like light bulbs, furnace filters, roof repairs. They might still have to fund it, but you'll take care of it. Or you could even do something where you offer better photos. You offer a drone package where you'll actually take pictures with your drone and a video with your drone and advertise it that way and get a much better visual marketing package for them. That's not hard. It's not expensive. Honestly, it's probably a little fun. Really, it just takes a little bit of thought, a little bit of creativity here, and you can do a lot better than a lot of Airbnb property managers are doing. There is a lot of unhappy hosts out there. And a lot of these hosts are using property managers that manage thousands and thousands of properties, and they feel like they're a tiny wheel in a cog. So imagine how they'd feel if you were only managing a couple. And as far as where you're going to find these people so that you can build these connections and make offers and get that first client, it's actually not that hard. They're all hanging out on the internet. I can head to Facebook right now and you can see Airbnb hosts Facebook group, 113,000 members. Airbnb and Booking.com for hosts, 64,000 members. Lady Landlords, 52,000. Airbnb hosts, how to optimize my listing, 93,000 members. There are groups all over the internet, and just specifically on Facebook, where all these hosts are getting together and chatting about their problems. So all you've got to do is come in here and start solving and talking and building connections and relationships, and it will not be long before you find a disgruntled host who is absolutely looking for something better than what he has. Number 2 is the Amazon Influencer Program. And I know a lot of people are going to try to close the computer after hearing this because there's this rumor going around that this is no longer a good side hustle and it's an older side hustle and doesn't work anymore. And let me prove you wrong on that as well with, again, some numbers and some personal experiences. I started working on this side hustle a couple years ago and actually put out a lot of videos on this channel detailing my experience as I got started with it. First, let's show you my experience when I first started with this program about 3 years ago. This is my earnings my very first month that I actually got paid. I made $92.42. The next month, I made $598.71. That's pretty good for just starting out with a side hustle. The next one, I did $2,703.62, followed by almost $12,500. And then 5 months in, I did just under $20,000 in profit. Now, this is completely and admittedly old data. Obviously, this happened a while back. I did really well with this for about a year and a half, and then I moved on to other side hustles, which I tend to do on this channel. I moved on to affiliate marketing. I built up the channel a lot more. I moved on to Airbnb hosting, a lot of different things, and I kind of fizzled out of the Amazon program. So much so that I've only put in about an hour of effort since the beginning of this year, and this is currently being filmed in April. And if I'm being honest, I probably only put in a few hours the last half of last year as well. So very little effort has gone into this for almost a year now. But when I log into my Amazon influencer account right here, you can see April 1st to April 30th, I am still doing about $940 a month in commissions. And this is the truest passive income you could really ever imagine because I've not done a single thing. I haven't even logged in this month or even thought through this program. So you can imagine I don't really love to hear that it's an old, burned out program when I can make money and I'm not even doing anything. So let's explain a little bit about how this works. You can see on my screen right here, I've got an Amazon product that I actually recently purchased. It's outdoor LED lights. That's all the rage right now. Now we've got image after image after image after image here that the company puts out, right? These are extremely well done images, clearly put out by the company. But if we go over to here, you can see there's also a video section, and currently there's 7 videos. When I click that, it's going to show me video put out by the company. And there's actually 2 videos put out by the company you can see right here. But right here we see 5 videos. These say related videos for this product, meaning Amazon influencer program. Someone like me, potentially you, also made a video about this product and threw it up there. Now these videos are definitely not nearly as high quality as the stuff we're seeing come out of this company. In fact, if I click on this one right here, you can see it looks like a guy with his iPhone is just showing him opening the box and basically demoing the product for 45 seconds. Now I don't know about you, but there's very few people that couldn't do that. Now, all you have to do to make money with this program is make videos like this. And if someone watches your video, so I watch this video and I say, okay, I think I'm in, I get it now, and I click that buy now or that add to cart button, you will get paid. You can see here me doing this when I was first getting started, making videos, nothing special, nothing spectacular, very low effort videos being done with an iPhone. And that's what yielded that almost $20,000 a month. So all you've got to do for this side hustle is go around with your iPhone and take videos of every product that is sold on Amazon. Everything in your house, everything in your friend's house, your girlfriend's parents' house, your dog's best friend's owner's house, anywhere that you go or have access to, you can take videos of the products. Now we're gonna leave a link here and down below. This is a full explainer if you're interested in learning more about this particular side hustle. This will go into everything. You do have to be approved for the program. It's easier to get approved than most people think, but there is a small approval process, and once you're past that, it's fairly easy running. Now, as an added bonus for this program, once you start putting out videos, you're actually going to have the owners of these products start reaching out to you and ask you to make more videos for them, and they will send you a wild amount of free product. I've been able to get free electric bikes, electric skateboards, electric scooters, tents, treadmills, tons of things that I can't even fathom people just giving out for free just so I'll make a 30-second iPhone video about them. Number 3 is selling leads to local businesses, another side hustle that I've actually done. Let's talk about the last time you needed a local businessman. Your toilet was flooding, your sink was leaking, something was going on, and you needed to call a plumber. Now you might have clicked one of the map listings that shows up, or you might have clicked one of the websites down right beneath that. When you got to that website, there was probably a phone number in the top right corner or a contact button. You called the number. Someone answered the phone, you explained your problem, they gave you a quote, probably went with it, you paid them, and that was it. Now, a lot of people do not realize in that process, there was a middleman. There was someone else making money in there. Now, here's a great example of what I'm talking about. What you see on the screen here, this is a city in Idaho. You can see here, Rexburg is the city, plumbing and heating. It's got a phone number up there. Now, when I go through this particular website, I don't know if there's really a company behind this, an actual name of a company. You can see when I go to contact us, there's a simple form. When I go to about us, our team right here, not really screaming that there's a legitimate company behind this. And yet when I go type in Rexburg plumber, once I get past the businesses right here that actually are on the map listing, you can see the first website is this rexburgplumbingandheating.com. Now, this could be totally legit, but it does have a lot of the signs of what I'm about to show you. A middleman. So what's happening for this side hustle is someone is choosing a niche and they're choosing a location, like a city or a zip code. They're creating some sort of website, very basic, like the one we just saw, that essentially offers kind of a vague service in that location. Next, they are SEOing the crap out of that website. And if you're not familiar with that term, search engine optimization, they're essentially making it move up very quickly in the Google rankings. Now, for a lot of smaller towns, there's not a lot of competition in very specific niches like this, and you're only competing against 5 or 6 other businesses, which means you can move up fairly quickly. Now, once they start ranking in those top few spots, they start to see phone calls coming in. So step 2 is just go contact one of these local plumbers and say, hey, I'm getting 10 leads every single day to my website. How would you like to take those leads off my hands? Now remember, these are perfect leads. These are exactly what that local plumber is looking for. His location, his business. Yes, he's going to give you something for those leads. Now you can vary the exact model. You can rent out the actual site and just say you can have anybody that I get and just pay me a monthly fee, or you can charge per lead, or you could even charge per customer, per person that actually activated and paid them money. Now that you're ranking, you can do a couple things. You can sit back down and enjoy passive income for a little while as these 10 leads continue to come from Google every single day. You can expand to another service in that same town. You can expand to another town with that same service. There's a lot of different directions to go, especially once you get good at that SEO part. And there you have it. That's 3 real side hustles. And how do I know that all 3 of those work? Because I've done every single one of them. Stop watching a lot of the nonsense a lot of people are putting out. Pick one of these, start hustling, click subscribe, and go make some money.